All right, this tutorial is for a 2-sample T interval. I'll show you both data and stats mode. Both examples have data from your notes. This one is the strength of the grocery bag example. There you've got target in list 1. The data from Bosch's is over in list 2. Those are the amount of weight the bags would hold before they would rip in grams. Only have a sample size of 5, so those are just going in the lists. I'm also going to show you how to make the box plots for those before we're done here. All right, so go stat and test. We are looking for 2-sample T interval. Remember, with the intervals, you always have to scroll down a little bit. There it is. I do not want to be in stats mode. I want to be in data. Here you would double check the order that you defined your parameters. Okay. I put target in list 1 and Bosch's in 2, which is fine. I would just have to make sure that when I'm doing my interval, I said that I'm trying to estimate mu sub t. That's what we called the true average for the target bags, minus mu sub b, which would be the true average for the Bosch's bags. Okay. It's pretty logical that you just need to go in order, and list 1 should be the parameter you define first, and then 2 is the one that you defined second in terms of going like 1 minus 2. Okay. Frequencies will always sit at 1. Confidence level is 0.99. For this procedure, you would always leave pooled as no. In fact, if it ever asks, do you want to pool, you always say no. The only case we do it is the 2 proportion z-test. And there it just gives you the combined proportion. So if it ever asks, just say no. Then you calculate it, and here you go. You've got your interval. There's a lot here that you would need in your do step. The very top thing is the interval. You'd need that. Degrees of freedom. Remember, this uses kind of the fancy way that sort of kind of combines the 2 sample sizes. Use that. And then you have the average of target, which is x bar sub 1. The sample average or sample mean for Bosch's, x bar sub 2. And then you have the 2 sample standard deviations. But when you're showing the work to construct your interval, you would need all those numbers. Okay, so this is a procedure. You'll be really dependent on the calculator. I mean, you should be probably no procedure more than this one, a 2-sample T interval in data mode. There's a lot here that you need for your do step. Okay. Now I'm going to get out of there. Another part of this test would be that you'd have to do 2 box plots to verify skews or outliers. One of them is no problem. We've done that many times before, and you can see here under stat plot. 1 is on, set to a box plot. It'll mark outliers. And it's drawing from list 1. Everything looks good there. But now here's where things get a little different. I would go down to 2. And up until now, we've been really, really specific that, 2 always needs to be turned off. Well, because it causes problems if it's on, because, if it's on, your calculator is going to try to use it to make a second plot. And if it doesn't have any data, it, gets fussy and gives you an error message. But here I turn it on, and notice what I did right here is I said to draw the data from list 2, which is where I have the Bosch's data. Okay. So it's really straightforward what we're doing. We're just, in our first list, we use the first stat plot to make the box plot, and then the second list, use that to make a second box plot. We're all good to go. Zoom 9, you've got the target box plot. up top, and then the Bosch's box plot is down below. Okay. So just basically use a second stat plot with list 2 and you're good to go. Okay. Here's the second example that you had in your notes. It's the one on the prices of wheat. It's a 2-sample T interval. Now I'd swap over to stats mode. You stay with the same theme that whatever you enter first is like when you're doing the order of the differences, it's the parameter you put first. Okay, we had said that X bar sub 1 and S sub 1, that was September. Okay, so for the mean price in September, it was 3.61. Standard deviation was 0.19. Sample size was 45. And here's July, 2.95. S is 0.22. Sample size was 90. We are going to go 99, pooled no, and you get the exact same screen, right? A little bit less here that, you know, is kind of needed information-wise because the bottom 4 things we already knew, right? We had those 4 pieces of information and we were able to use them because we were in stats mode. Different case when we were in data mode and we basically needed everything on the screen. But the top 2 things are obviously huge. You have the interval and then the degrees of freedom, both of which you would need for the do step.